Wow. 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 Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. What do I even say? Let's start off with this, man. The biggest collapse in Eagles history, maybe the most historic collapse in NFL history, in sports potentially, is over. And thankfully it is over, because this Eagles team showed us who they were. Their DNA was put out there for the public visibility. The writing was on the wall, and we saw it, and we had an extra day to wait for this game. We had weeks waiting for this game, but we knew deep down who this Eagles team was. We knew who this Eagles team was. They are soft. They are gutless. They are losers. And it sucks that I have to say that. It really does suck. But everything they have showed us the last several weeks, the last 2 months, with the people that they have in this locker room, the people that they have in this organization, they went to the damn Super Bowl last year. Don't take anything for granted, ladies and gentlemen. Remember how sweet and lovely it was going to the Super Bowl? Remember that? What we didn't remember is how hard it was to freaking get back to the Super Bowl. What we didn't remember was how brutal the journey was, and how the turnover is in the NFL, and when you have to pay guys and things like that. But just to go from 10-1 this season to the way you have completely broken down here is just absolutely inexcusable. It is frustrating, and this team is a bunch of losers. That's what they are. That's what they are. That's what they are, man. RB, you're being too hard. You're being too hard. Let's have optimism. Let's have hope. They got pounced by the Seahawks in Matt Patricia's first game. They got embarrassed on Christmas, almost blew a 17-point lead against the Giants. Luckily won that game. They play against the freaking Cardinals and John Gannon, and if you want your damn soul sucked out, that's how you do it. You get embarrassed by the Cardinals, the 3-win Cardinals, and then you get embarrassed by the Giants again, and you come into this game, and whoop-de-doo, you have a little bit of momentum rolling into half. Oh, wait, you finally figured out one damn thing that works, and what happens? You go away from it, you get smacked upside the head. Jalen Hurts runs into the end zone from the 14-yard line and takes a safety. What are we doing here, man? Then James Bradbury, who I've never seen a guy regress as much as I just saw James Bradbury this season regress, misses a tackle, wide open, 50-yard touchdown, and I'm seeing Brandon Graham here hugging guys like it might be his last game. Jason Kelce was just crying on the sideline like it may be his last game. If they let BG and Jason Kelce go out like this, I will never forgive them. Oh, I'm so disgusted, man. Blow it up. Blow it up. Fire everybody, man. Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. I've been waiting for this, man, to finally let it out, because I knew this team had no chance. I knew this team had no chance, man. They showed us who they were. I'm going to go down the ladder, man. I'm going to go down the ladder. First off, welcome in A to Z Philly post-game show. We're live on every platform. If you're on our YouTube channel, hit the like button and subscribe. Come on over to the YouTube page. We're going to cut out the other one soon, so come on over to YouTube. Shout out to everybody on Instagram, Facebook. Share it around. Let me start from the hierarchy, okay? I believe where this Eagles season went wrong was Brian Johnson. That was first and foremost. All right, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of blame to direct, but Brian Johnson takes a Super Bowl offense and makes them as stale as can be. He implements 4 damn plays in the playbook. He does nothing. If I'm DeAndre Swift in this game, who had 10 carries for 34 yards and a lot were in garbage time, I'm a 1,000-yard rusher. I could have been a 1,500-yard rusher, and they won't use DeAndre Swift. They give him 2 carries to begin this game, and then they go away from him? Are you serious? I could take anybody with common sense at home. I could take my father and put him on a sideline, and he would know to run the damn football. Run the ball. Run. I mean, it is not that hard. It is not rocket science. Throw the ball over the middle of the field once in a while. Oh, wait, you did it in this game. Devontae Smith runs for 30 yards after the catch. But RB has been sitting up here all year saying, use AJ and Devontae. Use Dallas Goedert over the middle of the field. Wait, 3rd and 2, let's throw a screen. 3rd and 8, let's throw a long 15-yarder down the sideline. It makes no freaking sense. Do you hear what I'm saying? Brian Johnson is an absolute moron. Brian Johnson, I wouldn't even let him back on the plane. I'm being serious. He was interviewing for the Titans job. Shoot, let him go interview for the Titans. Go stay there. Go stay overnight. Go interview. We don't want you. You are the worst coordinator in the history of the game. You take an MVP quarterback, MVP level quarterback, I'll say, and a Super Bowl caliber offense with literally no change except the running back, and you make them the worst offense I've ever seen. How do you make a team this stale? It makes no sense. He's got to go, man. He's got to go. I'm almost to the point where I'm thinking Brian Johnson's got something on the lines here. Hey, what's going on here? The Eagles had their longest play of the season since week 4 in this game, a 50-plus yard bomb to Devontae Smith. And you know what Brian Johnson does? He says, I am not going to throw any more deep balls in this game. I'm going to go to screen passes and balls in the flat to Kenny Gainwell. Not even DeAndre Swift, not even a 1,000-yard rusher. Brian Johnson, you stink. You are the worst coordinator. Doug Peterson with no coordinator is better than the Eagles with Brian Johnson. That's how bad he was. Nick Sirianni, you might have, honestly, you have to go too. You have to go. Did you see Jeff Lurie's face up there? He looked absolutely sickened, deflated. He looked absolutely like he was about to just jump out of that booth. That's how mad he was. He fired Doug Peterson a couple years after winning the Super Bowl because the offense was stale, because it looked like they quit. This Eagles team quit. And you know what's very, very weird, guys and gals? Think about this. Eagles win the Super Bowl, right? 2017-18 season. The next year, they go to the playoffs, lose. Then what happens? They end up winning 4 games. Guys are fired. Bada boom, bada bang. This time it happens even quicker. You go to the Super Bowl and lose. Next season, you start out 10-1 and you get absolutely embarrassed. And here you are. This is the worst way I've ever seen a team go out in sports, man. It's absolutely insane. So I think Brian Johnson's philosophy completely ruined this team. Jalen Hurts has regressed. I'm going to say it if you won't. Jalen Hurts has regressed, and I don't think it's his fault. They put a graphic up during this game that said that Jalen Hurts only had 2 seconds to throw the ball average from the time the blitz got to him. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What do you want Jalen to do with the ball? In 2 seconds. In 2 seconds. I mean, that is absolutely insane. Jalen Hurts has regressed. Now you have to hope you can get a coordinator that can fix him, that can solve these issues, right? Because he obviously screwed up his entire mental clock. That's not to say Jalen does not have fault. He should have played better this year. He should have been more careful with the ball and all these things, but they have messed him up. So I think that's where it got to the point where the players started to not believe. I think it goes from Brian Johnson, then Nick Sirianni started to reveal that he is not a true leader. He does not know how to direct the team. Because when things are rah-rah, and I said this to my father during the game, when things are rah-rah, Nick Sirianni is all up in the air. He's everywhere to be seen. When things are going bad, when adversity finally hits, Nick Sirianni looked like a damn puppet. That's what he looked like. I'm just being honest here. And if Jeff Lurie does not fire Nick Sirianni after this game, then it just shows that they want a yes man, that they want a puppet. Maybe the calls are coming from upstairs and they just don't really care. Because the way Nick Sirianni failed to control this team in the sight of adversity is absolutely unfathomable. It is inexcusable. They scapegoated the wrong coordinator, okay? And I didn't even get to the defense. They're pathetic too. Every area of this team is pathetic. The defensive line finally got going in this game a little bit too late. 4 sacks on Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was not playing that well in this game. He ends up with 330 yards. The Buccaneers dropped like 10 passes in this game. They were playing like crap, and you still could not take advantage because your defense doesn't know how to tackle. They don't know how to play any coverages. They look absolutely lost. You got guys running into each other. I've never seen anything like it. Sean Desai was an issue, but he was not the issue. You scapegoated the wrong coordinator. You should have canned Brian Johnson at the first sight of opportunity. I would have canned him before this game. That's how bad he is. and I would can him tonight. I would get rid of him. Matt Patricia can see his way out. He's probably going to go back to being some offensive line coach for, not even football, man. He might as well go to college. Go to college, because you stink too. Matt Patricia stinks. Sean Desai will not come back to the Eagles now that he's been demoted. Brian Johnson stinks, and Nick Sirianni could not control this team in the sight of adversity as they're getting downed by these horrible teams, and they all stink. They all have to go. They all have to go. Man, oh man. Then we got Howie Roseman. He's not going anywhere. We know that. But you have to get some different players. You let C.J. Gardner-Johnson walk. You brought back James Bradbury and Darius Slay. Both of them might be cooked. Slay is now injured. We saw that at the end of the game. You let T.J. Edwards walk, who was one of the best linebackers in the league this year. You got Cunningham out there who's committing penalties and doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Can't even hold on to an interception. You got Nick Morrow out there who was cut like 3 times in training camp. He blows. Damn, man. I'm just pissed. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what to say, man. I just have never seen a collapse. Like, the Eagles just can't lose regular. They can't lose regular. They literally have to come in here and bottom out. They have to collapse. They go from 2019 to 2020. They have to collapse. You have to get rid of everybody and blow it up. They come into this season. They can't just lose regular. They have to collapse. I've never seen a team this pathetic. You let the Buccaneers, who couldn't even put up 10 points on the Carolina Panthers, go and drop 30 plus on you. This is the worst defense I have ever seen. I haven't even talked about the game. I've barely talked about the game. James Bradbury missed what felt like 1,000 tackles. Oh, let's talk about Nick Sirianni, okay? Because we're going to hit everything in this game. Nick Sirianni, you are so frustrating as a head coach. I'm not even putting this on Brian Johnson. I'm putting it on you. You leave 4 points on the board here, okay? You leave 3 points at the end of the game. Earlier in the game, you kick an extra point, and I'm getting tired of these analytics, all right? I understand analytics provide data. They help make things more efficient, but sometimes the human brain has to kick in and realize that, oh, maybe that's not the smartest decision. Now, okay, you kick an extra point, they go off sides, you move it up to the 1 yard line. Okay, I'm fine with that, right? You try the brotherly shove, you don't get it, unfortunate timing, fine. There was a face mask on that play that was missed, but I'm not going to sit here and blame the refs. But here's what really frustrates me, man. Nearing the end of this game, you're in the 4th quarter, it is 25-9. Keep in mind, you have not scored. They didn't score in the second half of this game. They went out absolutely gutless, but you haven't scored and you have a field goal. You kick the field goal. It's good. It's 4th and 10. And then they push it to a 4th and 5 after an offsides. And you decide to go for it. First off, you should have kicked the 3 again, or you should have just declined and taken the points. It would have been a 13-point game. And who knows what could happen? Your defense is starting to sack Baker Mayfield. Maybe you get a 3 and out. You get the ball back. Fine. A 4th and 5. And all damn night, the Eagles had no answer for the blitz. They let Jalen Hurts drop back, and he's throwing it deep into the end zone on 4th and 5, incomplete to Smitty. I can't even be mad at Smitty because he played his ass off tonight. He played his ass off tonight, and you try to throw a 4th and 5, but not even that play. All night long on the blitz. And what happened last week? The Eagles got absolutely destroyed on the blitz by New York, who was one of the top blitzing teams in the NFL. So you would think any human being would try to adjust and put some other things in the playbook to manage that counter against the blitz. No, we are dropping Jalen Hurts back 10 yards on every blitz and letting him get pounced. It makes no sense. It makes no sense, man. Do you know what the Eagles were on 3rd down this game? Do you know what they were on 3rd down? They were 0 for 9. They didn't convert a 3rd down in this game. That can't happen. It didn't convert a 3rd down in a playoff game. I just can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. I'm going to get to the comments here. If you're on the Instagram, come on over to YouTube. Everybody come on over to YouTube. I have to rant, man. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated. This is our last game day show, but we'll be dropping content all off season. A to Z Philly, come on over, YouTube, Facebook. We are live. And I'm just being honest right here, man. I am up the wall, but at some point I've realized in this game that it was going to happen. The inevitable was going to come about. I just didn't think it would be this sad the way that they went out. I mean, you look at these stats. They got absolutely destroyed in time of possession. They were 0 for 9 on third down. 426 yards for a Buccaneers offense that struggled most of the year. Baker Mayfield did his thing. I got to give him credit, even though I feel like he just took what the Eagles defense gave him. But this is crazy, man. You let Baker Mayfield throw for 337 and 3 touchdowns. No picks. Didn't turn the ball over. Defensive line, I'll give Fletch credit and BG. They actually came in what could be their last game as an Eagle. They came out to play. They got a couple sacks, but it didn't matter, man. Didn't matter. The Eagles did the same thing they did all year long. All year long. Writing was on the wall, man. James Bradbury was benched at one point in this game. He ended up coming back in. I just can't figure out. I can't figure out why the Eagles would never get more creative. All year we said it. Yeah, they were winning, but they were winning ugly. And we question, why do you have all these tools in the toolbox and you will not experiment with any of these weapons? Why? Why will you not experiment with anything? I feel like the Eagles ran the same 10 plays on offense all year long. Out route, screens, up the middle with DeAndre Swift, like quarterback keeper, brotherly shove. Why? My Lord. Shout out to Jeffrey. He said, keep doing the shows. Looking forward to your show. Guys, we're going to be doing content all off season. We'll be doing videos, live streams, so we're not going anywhere. And I really appreciate everybody that has come along for the ride this season and into the off season, who has supported this show and will continue to do so. So I really do appreciate that. Help us get to 3,000 subs on our YouTube channel. What are they going to say after this game? I'm going to go to the comments in a minute here, but I need to get this one last thing off my chest. What are they going to say after this game? What will be the accountability factor, right? Who is going to say, finally, what we need to hear? And you know what's crazy, man? Things are going to come out after this game. I hope you guys know that. Whether it's in the offseason or whether it's even tonight, the finger pointing is about to show up in full effect. And I'm going to tell you what I believe happened. Okay, I need somebody to answer this question for me. Because it's driving me nuts right now. The Philadelphia Eagles are 10-1. And they come out against San Fran, a team that talked so much crap during that week because they thought they were cheated in the NFC Championship last year down to their 4th quarterback. And they come out into the link and completely tear you apart. There was no heart in this Eagles team. Even in prior weeks, they were winning ugly, but they found a way to go on a 7-minute drive to win a game. They found a way to win. They get embarrassed by the Niners. They get ripped apart by the Cowboys. What happened in between that week from going 10-1 to playing the Niners? What happened? Something had to happen. There is just no way that they go from playing the way that they did to getting completely ripped apart. And if you want to sit there and say that the team just wasn't that good, okay, well, it's kind of hard to get lucky and go 10-1. I'm just being honest. It's not like they beat the worst teams in the league. They beat Buffalo. They beat Kansas City. They beat Miami, shut them down in the second half. It's not like they played nobody. Something happened to this team, and we're going to hear about it, whether it's in the next week, month, whatever. I believe that there was a disconnect in this organization. We saw some articles earlier today. And by the way, any media reporter who's putting out garbage like that on a playoff morning is ridiculous, right? Wait till the season's over, but they're in it to get the clicks. I get it. Now, let me say this, man. There is some kind of disconnect, whether it's between Jalen and Brian Johnson, Sirianni and Brian Johnson. Maybe Sirianni's just trying to cover for them. But you saw, even in that Cardinals game where AJ comes off on the final drive and he's shaking his head, and Dallas Goedert is coming off and he's shaking his head. They don't believe. They don't believe in this coaching staff, in this team. And I really believe something happened behind the scenes. Because even on the sideline during this game, they're showing the defense. They're showing some of the offensive guys, but mostly, like, I remember Avonte Maddox was there and Darius Slay, and Patricia's trying to drill something into him, and they're not even looking at him. Like, they don't even care. It looked like they didn't care, man. It looked like something really happened behind the scenes that deterred this Eagles team. I just can't fathom a team going from 10-1 to going out quitting the way that they did. Something had to happen. Something had to happen. Unbelievable, man. Now, everybody's got to go after that. Everybody. You quit. How do you bring that back to life? You lost 6 of your last 7 games against some of the worst teams in the league. I think there was a lot of issues you can point at, but it comes down to the fact that somehow this team lost belief in what they do. And maybe it was the defensive coordinator switch. Maybe it was going to Matt Patricia from Sean Desai, and maybe the defense just flat out said, you know what? We're lost. We're lost, and we're not going to get it back. This game, I want you to listen closely. You had Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick dropping into coverage. We're talking about guys that get double-digit sacks. We're talking about some of the best linemen this team has had in the last 5 years. You have them dropping into coverage? Are you insane? I'm no defensive specialist, but I'll tell you, I'm not dropping Josh Sweat into coverage. Give me a break. At that point, you're just searching for answers that aren't there, man. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. All right, I want to go to the chat, man, and we'll get into a lot more. You know, we're going to be on here just kind of chopping it up because I am frustrated, man. I am frustrated. I will ask this question to the chat. We'll start it off like this, man. Who should be fired after this game? Should it be everybody? Nick Sirianni, Brian Johnson, and Matt Patricia? Should it be only Brian Johnson and Matt Patricia? What do the Eagles need to do? What is the first act of business for this Eagles team? How did they start after this game? Give me your thoughts in the chat. Give me some answers, man. We'll go to the chat. But before I jump into it, let me shout out our sponsor all year long, our great partner of the Game Day Show, BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up with the code ATOZPA and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. If you don't win your first bet, visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Shout out again to BetMGM for supporting us all year long. And go use them for your future playoff needs here in the NFL. Won't be the Eagles, though. Won't be the Eagles, man, because they got absolutely embarrassed. Let's see what the chat says, man. I see entire coaching staff, both coordinators, says Mr. 100. Let's see where we're at. Chris Burks, he says everyone except Stoutland. Ryan Rose says everyone. Why was Cam Jurgens running downfield ineligible? It's insane. I don't understand. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. Patricia needs to go. Everybody clean house. No one has the right to return, says Music Lover, except for Jeff Stoutland. Who knows if he'll even want to come back if there's a new staff. Sirianni must be fired. Let's see. Where are we at here? Deadman Saunders says quarterback coach, linebacker coach, defensive coordinator, and offensive coordinator, and Nick need to go. ABD says everyone, either the OC or DC, put Sirianni on a sort of improvement plan or something. Oh, man. Music Lover says Clay, best special teams coach in the league. Well, at least Britton Covey had a good year. At least he had a good year. I'm be honest, man. The only reason I have a little bit of joy in my heart is because Dallas got embarrassed the way that they did. Dallas had a much more embarrassing time here, but either way, it doesn't matter. That's the only thing keeping me here right now, man, because, wow. Eagles get walloped. I didn't know if they would lose or lose bad, but maybe this is even the better route now that they can finally realize what they have and they don't have, and they will be forced. They'll have a forced hand to go out there and make some type of change. I'm just really interested to hear what, some of these players have to say about where this season went south. Like, what happened, man? Philip says OC and DC have to go. Give Nick one more year. He got us into the Super Bowl and the playoffs in all his years. Bad seasons can happen. One more to go with him. Insane, man. Dabney says curb stomped by Tampa Bay. Sirianni has to go. All the coaches need to go, period, says Fred. Unreal, man. Meredith says, RB, love from Camden, using my girl's YouTube, but something has to give this offseason. I'm sick and tired of being tired as much as us Philly fans are sick of it. I hear you, man. It's frustrating. And you know what's another interesting factor is that there's a coaching carousel this offseason with coordinators and coaches. You have Belichick and Pete Carroll and Mike Vrabel. Like, could this be the time that you're like, all right, maybe there is a better coach out there than Nick Sirianni, and you decide to force the hand? Maybe this is the time, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Julio Jones went out in this game. Slay got hurt. Goddard got hurt on the final drive. I mean, it was doom and gloom. And the couple plays that really sway me in this game, because at halftime, I sat up here and I said, the Philadelphia Eagles need to go out there and punch it in on the first drive of the third quarter, right? You had the whole blunder where you don't get the extra point, but it's a 7-point game. You are in reach. You have the possession of the ball in your hands to go down there and tie it up. And the Eagles absolutely collapsed. And on the first drive of the second half, they go 3 and out. The Bucs get it back. They go 3 and out. Baker Mayfield gets sacked by the rookie Nolan Smith. And then here's where it all starts to go downhill. Eagles get it back. Jalen Hurts ends up getting hit in the head, offsetting penalties, right? Then they go down, and it's a 3rd and 9. Jalen Hurts throws to Dallas Goedert. It's incomplete, but they get another opportunity because of a pass interference. And then a 3rd and 6, and here's one of the plays that really deterred me in the second half. 3rd and 6, you finally have momentum. You saw what happened at the end of the first half. You throw a deep ball to Devontae, you throw it over the middle. I'm like, okay, they're going to try to get somebody involved in the middle of the field here and try to run for maybe a couple yards, get a first down. You know what they do? They throw a 3rd and 6 play screen to Kenny Gainwell with nobody in front of him. And from then on, I said Brian Johnson has reverted back to himself, to his true nature of being absolutely clueless. Insane, man. Insane. And then on the next drive is where it really spiraled downhill. Eagles get it. 3rd and 6. They are at the 14-yard line, okay? And they decide to go down the field. Jalen Hurts, after the punt, right? They get it back, 3rd and 6. He scrambles away. And this is where I really believe Jalen Hurts has benefited in no way, shape, or form from this coaching staff. He's trying to play hero ball. It reminded me of Carson Wentz. I don't want to say it, but it reminded me of Wentz a little bit. It was Wentz-ish. He tries to play hero ball. He should have threw the ball away. But in his head, I feel like he's thinking, there's no hope. There's no way to run. We're going to punt away again from our own 5-yard line, and we're not going to get the ball back, and we're going to start losing, and it's going to go downhill. And he tries to run away, and then he tries to throw it away and gets an intentional grounding in the end zone, resulting in a safety. And from then on, I was like, Jalen Hurts just doesn't really trust what's going on. Jalen Hurts doesn't trust the coach staff. Now, again, that is on Hurts. You cannot do that. That is a fatal flaw in this game. That is a play that will be remembered. But he tries to scramble away because I feel like he's trying to get into hero ball mode because Brian Johnson won't put him in a situation to succeed, and he throws it away, but it's intentional grounding. And then on the next drive, oh my gosh, James Bradberry. I liked Bradberry. I advocated for him to come back. I wanted James Bradberry back. What happened to James Bradberry? What happened? Baker Mayfield throws a little short route, and what do you know? Trey Palmer breaks a tackle on James Bradberry, and I've just never seen a defense not be able to stop a nosebleed. He just runs all the way down the field. 56-yard touchdown, missed tackle, missed coverage, 25-9. And from then on, it was not even close. Then Nick Sirianni left points on the board in the fourth quarter. And the Buccaneers piled it on, man. 32-9. I mean, this is going to sting. This is going to sting. But I hear you in the chat, Prince Manito. He says, this could be a blessing in disguise. Remove all coaching staff. Bring in a certified coach to bring in his own people. I wanted this game to end. It's bad enough. However, where I disagree is that I don't think Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman want a guy like that. That's where I'm concerned. As good of the coaching candidates out there as there are, I don't know if Jeff Lurie and Howie Roseman want a guy in here like that. And if they don't fire Nick Sirianni, I'm starting to think that they just want their puppet guy. And we've heard this before. We've heard the rumblings. We've seen it. Last year, everything was clicking. So it was like, okay, let these things ride out and continue to go. But I said this around week 8 or 9. Even if you bring Sirianni back, even if you keep him here, you need good coordinators. I've never seen a team miss a coordinator like the Eagles miss Shane Steichen, man. He is a genius. The Eagles used to scheme guys open all game long last year. It was relentless. It was seamless. It was so easy. I don't know if it's just Brian Johnson being that bad, but this team put together possibly the worst offense I've ever seen. They wasted talent this year. They wasted it. Unreal, man. Unreal. Mr. 100 says, I was a huge Bradbury fan until this year. He could not make a tackle to save his life, and I miss C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Crazy, man. Eagles have to make a lot of tough decisions this offseason. They have to cut guys. They need to almost, in a way, take a step back. I don't think they're going to go to being a 4-win team, but they're going to take a step back because they have a lot of dead weight on this roster, and you're going to be depending on these young guys to step up. But you know, Jalen Carter disappeared the last 10 weeks of the year. Nowhere to be seen. Josh Sweat disappeared. Reddick disappeared. Jordan Davis apparently is getting fined for being too heavy. I mean, this is crazy, man. Where's the discipline at? Then you look at the offensive line where you're built in the trenches. Kelsey might retire. Mailata played like crap. I'll be honest. Look, I'm just speaking it how it is. Lane Johnson is Lane Johnson, right? He's an anchor, but you know, Dickerson, Juergens, they didn't look too hot either. They were getting beat by this defensive line. It's like, where do you pick this team apart? Where do you address and say, okay, this is going to be our main approach? Because everybody quit so bad. They played so bad. And it's like, where do we go? Do we get rid of all the players? Do we get rid of the coaches as well? Like, what do you do? I think you're going to be searching for a lot of answers, man. You're going to be searching for a lot of answers. It's just insane. It's insane, man. And now you're going to give either the Buccaneers or the Lions a shot to go to the NFC Championship when neither of those teams should really be in it. I'm just being honest. But congratulations to them. Congratulations. Dabney says Steichen took a horrible Colts team who won 4 games and almost had them in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying with Gardner Minshew. Man, I miss Shane Steichen. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens to this Eagles squad, man. Swift, 10 carries in this game. DeAndre Swift needs to go somewhere and be a primary back. I'll give Devontae credit. He showed up 148 yards in this game. He tried without A.J. Brown. He tried. No Sidney Brown in this game. No Reed Blankenship. Oh, boy. I forgot about this because there's so much disappointment in this game. Can we talk about that last touchdown? What was Avonte Maddox doing? Eagles on, what was it, a 3rd down, I believe. They bring a little bit of pressure. Mayfield throws it off a foot. He's just blindly throwing it up, lobbing it. Game's over at that point. And Avonte Maddox gets embarrassed. He got embarrassed. Wide open in the end zone. It was Chris Godwin, 3rd and 7. Avonte Maddox has to go. He gets injured too much. You have a lot of dead weight on this roster. That's insane, man. For weeks, the media pressed Nick. They asked him about tackling issues. They asked him about, you know, guys in certain coverages and all this type of stuff. And he tried to poo-poo it. He tried to act like everything was good. This Eagles team, I saw right through it last week in their press conferences, right? These guys are sitting there saying, oh, well, we have a new life. We're rejuvenated. Chad Ochocinco was out there saying this team was just kind of playing around, waiting for the playoffs. Yeah? No, this is who they are. This is who they are, man. Unbelievable, man. I thought Fletch and BG went out there and gave it their all for what could be their last game. I thought Nolan Smith played a decent game, but overall, man, everybody just was not good. Was not good. And the other funny thing is, I said this before the game too, like you have an exact formula of how to beat the Buccaneers because you played them earlier this year. You saw what they did last week, struggling against the Panthers, and you didn't go out there and execute in any way, shape, or form. Who's most to blame, guys? Who's most to blame? Let me know in the chat. If you had to single out one person for this entire season, who is most to blame for this collapse? Who is most to blame for this epic, epic collapse? Unreal, man. I want to see if we can get some quotes in here as I'll read your comments. Let's see. So we got an update from Brandon Graham. Apparently he said this after the game. Brandon Graham says that he would like to be back for one more season in Philadelphia for a farewell tour. Graham is scheduled to be a free agent this offseason. He has played all 14 years in Philadelphia. So we'll see if BG ends up coming back. He definitely deserves it. I don't know if I'd want to come back to this team with how they're trending, though, just to be honest with you. ABD says, do they overlook game film? They must. They must. They had the exact formula. They played this team earlier this year. Baker Mayfield is not all that. The Bucs don't really have that many weapons. It's not like Mike Evans got going tonight. What did Mike Evans have tonight? I feel like he wasn't even involved. What did he have tonight? 3 catches for Mike Evans. 3. How does that happen? I thought Mike Evans would have 150 tonight. It was Cade Otton with 89. David Moore with a big touchdown run. Unreal. Unreal. And then on the ground, Rachaad White had 18 carries, 72 yards. That's what he's done all season. Got you those little chunk runs that you needed. Crazy. Rhea says, last game we rushed for 201 yards, no run game tonight. What the hell? Yeah, they got away from it. They went 13 plays in a row, or 13 out of 14 in the first to second quarter, and did not run the football. After giving Swift a couple carries on the first drive, they went away, and they didn't give him the rock. But they've done it all year. They don't use running backs. His team wants to throw. They put their players in bad situations. Week 18, you got Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown playing for no reason. They get injured. Hurts came out in this game, and he's wearing a glove, then he takes it off to begin the game, and you could tell his finger was hurting him. Crazy. Jamie says Nick Sirianni is the one to blame who oversees everything. That's a good point. You know, it all does stem back to Nick Sirianni. Sergio says start with the fans. Start with the fans? What are you talking about? What are you talking? The fans are to blame? What are you talking about? Rhea says it all goes on Sirianni. Head coach sees all. He refused to make changes. And that is where I hold Nick accountable. And that's why I believe he should be fired. That's not to say he hasn't done good things here in Philly. That's not to say he hasn't been successful. And I've never seen a coach fired the year after going to a Super Bowl. But the way that this team quit, and most importantly, the way that Nick Sirianni refused to adjust anything and tried to continue to cover up just the blame and just the false sense of hope. And he just tried to cover up everything. He tried to cover it up as if there was nothing wrong. And people were telling him these issues. They were telling him straight to his face. And, you know, he just ignored it. And you have to have a coach that can make the tough calls, that can make the tough statements, that can call guys out, that can hold their guys accountable. And you need those type of coaches, man. And I just feel like Nick did not do a good job in that sense. But this team had the writing on the wall from that Seahawks game, man. They had the writing on the wall. I knew that this season was not going to go anywhere because they showed us week in and week out the last 2 months who they were. Mark says Sirianni, he did nothing to force change on either side of the ball. He's incompetent or negligent. Yeah, it's a good point. Dylan says Brian Johnson turned one of the best offenses in the league to one of the most disappointing. Yeah, exactly. One-dimensional. One-dimensional. I think Brian Johnson is the main culprit, yet there are a lot of issues, but I've never seen a coordinator take an offense that is Super Bowl caliber with almost all the same weapons and turn them into one of the most bland. I don't even think they had a playbook. One of the most bland schemes ever. They ran 10 plays every single game. Eagle fans should be embarrassed, man. They should be embarrassed. You had the audacity from these fans coming in here last week telling us that we're wrong for not being so optimistic and positive. You had, I remember fans talking earlier today. They were drinking the Kool-Aid, thinking this Eagles team was going to do something. I said the Eagles would win this game 17-16. And that wasn't because of the Eagles. I thought the Bucs were bad, and they are bad. But they just whooped your ass. That should tell you all you need to know. That should tell you all you need to know. Nick Sirianni, when things were flowing and maneuvering so well, he was the happiest guy in the world. But when adversity hit, he did not know how to counteract that. He did not know what to do, and it is very sad. It is very sad. I just feel like they wasted, maybe not a Super Bowl roster, but they wasted a really good team this year, man. And it's frustrating, for sure. For sure. Jeff McClain just put this out on Twitter, and I'll tell you, man, I will not forgive the Eagles if they let Jason Kelce go out like this, man. Jason Kelce said he wasn't up for talking after the game, but his face said it all. The Eagles center, a future Hall of Famer, departing the locker room, and he was on the sideline crying, hugging Jeff Stoutland. This could be the last time that we see Jason Kelce. The last time that we see Kelce, and the Eagles are getting embarrassed. I'm frustrated about that, man. Unreal. Unreal. Shori in the YouTube chat says we need to hit the reset button, and that is the bottom line. 100 says, last time I saw play calling like this was at my little cousin's high school football game. Side note, I got kicked out. Ridiculous. I actually said that. I think it was on Twitter earlier, or maybe I was texting one of my boys. But, man, I said, I've never seen something this bad. It almost looks like they're toddlers. Like they're playing Pop Warner out here. Like, what are they doing with these screenplays? Like, you're limiting guys like AJ and Devontae. You have two 1,000-yard receivers, a 1,000-yard rusher, and it's like you're limiting them. You're boxing them in to being one-trick ponies, and it's just so frustrating, man. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man. Can't take it. Unreal. Unreal. Mark says, what do you have to say for the Sirianni apologists that defended him and drank the Kool-Aid? Well, all you can really say is, that you were wrong. That you were wrong. All you can say is that there was no accountability and there were no answers and there was a lot of soul searching, but nobody stepped up. And, a lot of people are saying things about Jalen and his leadership style, and I don't really want to get into that right now. But what I will say is there was a point in this game where Dallas Goedert's ripping into Jalen Hurts on the sideline, and you have guys coming over and chatting it up with Hurts, and he doesn't make any expressions. And I hinted at this earlier this year. Not that it has to change, in my opinion, but I am getting tired of this Eagles team getting whooped. Like, I want to see some damn emotion. I thought the first jolt of energy I saw from this team was when they sacked Mayfield and Fletch came up and he's getting chippy, putting a little shoulder into the offensive lineman. Like, that's what I want to see. That's Eagles football, man. I don't want to see these guys going out like wimps. Guys getting ripped on the sideline. They're just sitting there saying nothing. Come on, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know how anybody survives this. I don't know how anybody survives this, man. I don't know how anybody survives this. I want to see some quotes. I want to see some thoughts. I want to see some thoughts from Nick Sirianni and from Jalen Hurts. That's what I want to see. Lane Johnson after the game says, quote, "I think I have a few good years left." Good to see Lane coming back. He's a rock. He's rock solid. Fletcher Cox declined to talk with the media. Jason Kelsey declined to talk with the media. These guys don't even want to own up to it, man. They don't even want to talk. That's how embarrassed they are, man. And another thing that I need to ask the chat here, man, and I appreciate everybody hanging in here with me late night. It's past midnight, and I'm going to be up a while. I'm frustrated. I'm going to be frustrated all night. But I want to know from you guys, is Jalen Hurts fixable? Is Jalen Hurts fixable? Or is this who he is? He was mediocre in 2021. He took the leap of a lifetime in 2022. He was surrounded by better talent and coaches. But I think we have seen now that when a quarterback is not in a good system that is designed and fit for him to succeed in, you know, he's going to look average. And Jalen Hurts looked average all year long. Can a new coordinator or a coach fix Jalen Hurts? ABD says, "I want to be a fly on Jeff Lurie's wall tomorrow." Well, I don't know if you saw Jeff Lurie up there, but in that press box, he's sitting back, sighing heavily. It almost looked to me, and I said to my father, I said, he's going to fire Nick Sirianni. I think Lurie came into this game not knowing what he wanted to do. I think he came in saying, well, if we can compete, if they can kind of save themselves, you know, we can get new coordinators and fix this. But looking at Lurie up there with his wife, he had that blank stare of, like, what do I do? What do I do? He fired Doug, who was a pretty good coach at the time, obviously had a bad year. He fired Andy, who was a good coach and, you know, two of the best coaches in this team's history. Does he have the balls to fire Nick Sirianni? Prince is very fixable. Yes, definitely yes, of course, but we need coaching. Got a bunch of yeses, so chat seems to think Jalen can be fixed. I agree. He's got a good work ethic. He can get back to himself. He needs to get healthy. But damn, man, he needs some help. He needs some guidance. Keep in mind, he's still young. It's not like he's a 28-year-old. He's still young, man. He's still young. Joe says something else personal is going on. Commentators commented about that, relationships with players. Yeah. You could see something's going on, and I can't wait to hear what happened. I really think that they quit after that Niners game or before. I don't know what happened, but, you know, I really just seeing their body language from that Niners game on, something deep happened in this organization. Something happened, man. I honestly think they might fire everybody. They might fire everybody, and I wouldn't be mad at it. Firing Doug Peterson after winning a Super Bowl. That was the quickest a Super Bowl winning head coach had ever gotten fired. And maybe we might see a Super Bowl coach. I don't know if a guy that went to the Super Bowl and lost has ever been fired the next season. I don't know, but he might get fired. Something happened with this team, and I don't know if they can bring Nick back and really believe in him. Insane, man. Insane. The only thing keeping me happy is that the Cowboys got embarrassed. That's it. Stephanie says, I don't think he was ever the one. He was surrounded by the ones that made him look the part. He's a good quarterback, but he needs work, a lot of work. What do you guys think about that take? I mean, that's an interesting take from Stephanie. I mean, you know, it's an interesting take. Was Jalen just surrounded by the best weapons? I mean, the way I would probably respond to that is, well, he had the same weapons this year, and they looked like crap. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Crazy. I just want to see if there's any quotes from Nick Sirianni. Continue giving me your thoughts in the chat. Let's see, man. Nick Sirianni on punting from 4th and 2 on the Eagles' own 44-yard line. This was early in the game, one of their first drives. He says it was actually 4th and 3. I'm not going to give them a short field. So Nick Sirianni's aggressive mentality, Nick Sirianni's identity of always, being that aggressive type, went against him in this game, and he was not willing to go for it early in this game. Let's see, man. Let's see. Damn, man, look at this. Look at this. Things are going to come out after this game. Nick Sirianni, since week 13, the Eagles, since week 13, had the 31st worst win percentage. They were 31st in a opposition points per game margin, and turnover margin. They were the worst in the league. That is crazy. What the heck happened, man? From 10-1 to this. From 10-1 to this. I mean, you just can't get past it. You just can't get past it, man. KNG says the Niners exposed the Eagles' defense and broke them down, broke the players themselves. Maybe. Lori needs to clean house for the coaches. This team quit on the coaching staff, says Rhea. Justin says yes. Jamie says do it again. Sirianni can't do anything without top coordinators. 23 days later says he has the same players just with worse coaching. Yeah, I agree. Over the last few weeks, Sirianni had the safe answers, stereotypical answers. Yeah, he didn't take accountability. He didn't do anything to change. This locker room, the identity of this team is fractured, man. It's fractured. I wonder if Nick Sirianni's thinking up there like, yo, I'm about to be gone. Unreal. Finally, we get a quote from Nick Sirianni. Here we go. Everybody in that locker room is hurting right now. We're hurting. It's tough to go out the way we did. Nick says every single player put their heart and soul into this, and he's not worried about himself. Well, that tells me all I need to know. Nick Sirianni is just saying anything at this point. He's delusional. He knows. The writing's all on the wall. The cat's out of the bag, Nick. Cat's out of the bag. You're not fooling anybody. No player put any heart and soul into this last 7 weeks. None of these players gave a crap. He sees it, man. He sees it. Epic collapse. Wow. You had a lot of people leading up to this game saying, you know what? Nick Sirianni's had a good couple of first seasons. As long as they don't get walloped, as long as they don't get embarrassed, we'll be okay. But man, he went out sad. This team went out sad. Unbelievable, man. You had a guy holding up a Fire Nick Sirianni sign. You had people with bags on their heads. Unbelievable, man. I think this team needs an overhaul. I think they need new life. I think they need new players in some respects. I think they need a new identity. I want a defensive coordinator to come in here and blitz. Not saying they have to blitz 70% of the time, but come in here and make a damn statement. We criticized Jonathan Gannon. We called him a loser. We called him all this stuff. Fact of the matter is, the Eagles played better when he was here. I'm not saying that's because of Gannon, but they played better. No defensive coordinator. Even Jim Schwartz didn't want to be aggressive. Ever since Jimmy Johnson, man. Come in and bring a guy who will make a statement. Todd Bowles over there in Tampa made a damn statement. Eagles knew he was going to blitz. The Eagles knew he was going to blitz on every third down. And they went 0 for 9 on third down. They let him take over. Bring in a guy like Mike Vrabel. And I'm just throwing this out. I'm not saying that he's the guy. Mike Vrabel is going to bring that defensive intensity to this squad. He's going to bring that grittiness You need a coordinator, all right? I'm tired of Matt Patricia's and Sean Desai's who bring 4 men on every damn play. They do nothing. They do nothing to throw the offense out of sync. They do nothing. They continue to ride the same wave every week. And you got talented guys who can't get to the quarterback. I'm tired of it, man. Tired of it. LV says TB lined up 6 across the front in a cover 0 multiple times with no disguise, and aside from Goddard in a shortstop route, literally nothing done to attack the box. Nothing over the middle of the field. Eagles had no answer for the blitz. They continued to drop back Jalen Hurts, and he gets smacked around. He's getting blitzed up the wazoo. Nothing. I'm just going to be honest, and maybe you're just tapping in now, but I saw that look in the eyes of Jeff Lurie. I saw that disgust, that defeat. It was him pondering whether he is going to do it or not, and I think he was pushed over the brink. I think he was pushed over the ledge. I really do. They didn't lose. They got embarrassed again. I honestly feel like the only guy safe other than Jalen is going to be Howie Roseman. I really do. I can't believe I'm saying it. And you know what they should have done? They should have put Sean Desai back at the helm for this game. Obviously, it would never happen, but Sean Desai held the Buccaneers to 11 points. He actually had a game plan. Matt Patricia had no game plan at all. I think that also erupted this team. It also caused more into the chaos line because you're 10-3. What 10-3 team changes a coordinator? What 10-3 football team changes a coordinator? I think right then and there, man, you knew things were going downhill. Unreal. Mark says, I'll be pissed at Howie if he doesn't address linebackers and safeties. Leon says, my wife's boyfriend is completely devastated from this loss. Fire everybody and draft a corner with the first round pick and draft a running back in the later round. They have a lot of roster issues to address, man. A lot. I'm just trying to find a couple more Sirianni quotes, or we'll probably hear from Jalen Hurts soon. I'm going to stay on here till we hear from him because I need some answers. Not a big fan at all of how this team held their own mentality. Not a fan of how they went out there. And just, they let it happen. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Drop a word in the chat to describe this look right here. Drop a word. What does this say to you, man? This is what I'm talking about. This is the look of defeat. This is the inevitable about to happen. He said, damn, I'm going to fire him. I'm going to have to fire him. It's crazy, man. Crazy. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That is the look right there of, holy crap, I really got to do this, don't I? I really got to do this. He's sitting there watching his team get their ass kicked. He's thinking, did I really think I'd be here 7 weeks ago? Do you understand the mentality of a 10-1 football team? They're probably already thinking about the playoffs. They're probably already thinking about what they're going to do and how far they're going to get. And 7 weeks later, they're like, holy crap, we just got embarrassed in the playoffs. He is pissed. They said Jeff Lurie doesn't make emotional decisions. Let me tell you something. That man is going to go home with his wife. He is going to crack a nice bottle of wine. He's going to relax, go to bed, wake up in the morning and say, what the hell happened to my football team? His wife's over there like, damn, I'm not getting any play tonight, man. I'm pissed. She's pissed. He's pissed. Howie Roseman, they showed him putting his little binoculars away. He's pissed. Boy, oh boy. Eagles can't lose regular, man. They got to go completely 180. They got to collapse. They got to collapse, man. Oh, man, it is brutal. It is brutal. So Ron Rivera got fired. Mike McCarthy's definitely getting fired. Could Nick Sirianni get fired? Could Brian Daboll get fired? I mean, they didn't fire him yet, so they'll probably keep him. But could every other coach get fired in the NFC East? Crazy. Mr. 100 says, unfortunately, it's not one issue. It's issues on both sides of the ball. Young DTs were supposed to be the ones that take the reins. That's a good point. As soon as Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis got injured around week 6, I want to say it was, I feel like I never heard from them the rest of the season. That is an issue. We were talking about Jalen Carter having one of the most historic starts in Eagles history. And I feel like he wasn't even seen the rest of the way. Unbelievable, man. All right, I want to play this video for you guys because I don't know what people are talking about here. Here's Hassan Reddick after the game on Nick Sirianni. Let's see if we can play this.
Hey, man, you got to remember that. When things go bad, you can't start calling people jobs. And
Whoa. Hassan Reddick, you could go too, bro. What'd you just say? He said when things start going bad, you can't call for people's jobs. What the hell does that mean? What? Huh? I'm only 9 seconds into the video. What?
All that now, that part's above my pay grade, but I don't think that's right at the end of the day. You know, this is football. Anything can happen. What they got a movie called Any Given Sunday, because anything can happen on any given Sunday at the end of the day. And like I said, this was a collective effort. No one person makes rules. Everybody goes in and knowing Nick, you know, he's the type of person, getting to know him over the last 2 years, he's the type of person that he's going to try to do, you know, what's best for the team. So, you know, whatever that decision may be, that's up to him to make the final decision. At the end of the day, we got to keep going. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep going out there.
Give me a break, Hassan. Give me a break. That is the wrong mentality after this game. That is the wrong mentality. I can't believe that's the kind of crap we're saying after this game. Insane, man. But I guess some of the players do want Nick back. Guess they do want him back. Every guy is going to have to look themselves in the mirror. That's what it is. That's what it is. Damn, Jeff Lurie is pissed. Well, I don't know where you go after this, man. We'll probably hear from Jalen Hurts soon. He still has not talked to the media. Nick Sirianni says the team is stuck in a rut. They couldn't get out of it, but man, this is the most embarrassing loss in a long time. I want to thank everybody who has been a part of the halftime post-game crew this year, who has been here rocking with me after every single game. This will hopefully continue into next season and continuing forward. And again, we're going to be doing a lot of content in the offseason, okay? Draft, free agency. We're going to be talking about how this Eagles team can get it right, if they can. So we're going to be dropping a ton of content. But all my people who have been tapping in and who are new to the YouTube channel, again, guys, be sure to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe if you have not yet and share this around because the Eagle fans like you deserve better and you are the best fan base out there in the entire world. So a lot of soul searching, a lot of questions, and a lot of answers that need to be put out there. And we will see, you know, how that all goes. But this has been one of the biggest wild rides, roller coasters I've ever seen in a season. This has been one of the craziest journeys. I wish I did not have to sit up here and complain like this the last 7 weeks, but it is what it is. It's all about how it goes, you know? There has been nothing positive about this team. There's been nothing positive about this team in the way they finished, and maybe this is finally the thing that forces the hand of Philadelphia sports in general, the ownership, right? These teams, sometimes they all get good at the same time, but in the blink of an eye, in just a quick flash like that, they can all go downhill. And this is why it is hard to win in professional sports. It's why it's hard to go back to the big moments, man. You never know. You never know what one season can be from the next and what can happen. But man, what a tough way to go out. What a tough way to go out, man. Shout out to everybody who's been hanging in here with me, man. It's 12:30 Eastern. We'll get off here soon. William says we'll take AJ back in Tennessee if you don't want him. I mean, any Eagles fan that doesn't want AJ is absolutely insane. Insane. AJ Brown is a champ, man. I love AJ, and I hope they fix whatever, is going on. But I hope he gets healthy too, because he's an absolute stud. Mr. 100 says, appreciate you, homie. Tune in after every game. Staying tuned for the moves that should be made. Appreciate that. And yeah, we'll be tapping into a lot of content in the offseason. Jamie says, Eagles suck. Mark says, at the end of the day, we haven't been in the Lions situation, but huge props to them this past weekend. I think the Lions are going to beat the Bucs. I think they're going to the NFC Championship. I don't see any way this Bucs team wins another game. I don't see any way the Bucs go out there and win another game. They made a lot of mistakes today, and they still won 32-9, which is insane, man. Insane. I really hope Kelsey did not go out this way, man. I really hope Kelsey did not go out this way, man. But we will see, man. We'll hear hopefully from Jalen Hurts. We'll see how it plays out. I know Nick already spoke to the media. And according to Elliot Shore Parks here, he says that every player that he has heard has Nick Sirianni's back. So a lot of things up in the air. We'll see what Jeff Lurie decides to do after an embarrassing loss as the Eagles go down 32-9 in Wild Card Weekend. The end of a frustrating journey, but hopefully the start of a new one. See how it all plays out, man. Appreciate everybody tapping through here on A to Z Sports Philly. Hit the like button for me on this stream if you have not yet, and subscribe to the show. And I hope you all have an amazing week. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.